Oh, would you like to hear another absolutely disgusting secret about men that they definitely do not want you to know? And as usual, this is an absolutely foolproof method, so please pay attention and do not tell anybody that I told you. I know you think you have a lot of power over a man when you're in a relationship with him, and you totally do, but let me tell you one power you absolutely do not have. And this is the big secret. There is no amount of words, actions, controls that you put on the man that you are with to make sure he's not looking at any other women in the world is going to get him to be even more motivated to stay with you. You ever have to trick him or do stuff like check his phone or to have him like check in with location and all that stuff because you do not trust him, you are with the wrong person. So save your time, save your tears, because there's no amount of anything that you're going to say or do to him that's going to make him stay. There are only two kinds of men: men who want to be with the person they're with and men who have a wandering eye. If the man that you're with is in the second category, the only thing that he's going to get better at over time is hiding his actions from you. The big secret is, if the man that you're currently with is looking elsewhere while you're together and you're trying to control him, you're not going to control him. He's going to do what he wants to do, and it means you're in the wrong relationship.
This is for the girls who make jokes resenting the women who fought for our right to work. Because let's face it, work sucks. But it's 2024, and a man walked on the stage of a graduation ceremony and said that a woman's life doesn't truly begin until she gets married and has children. Let's not take it for granted that we work, we earn salaries, we contribute to our families, we have our own independence because of our jobs. Maybe that's me convincing myself to be positive on my way to work this morning. Knowing that there are men out there who are actively attempting to take this right away from me puts things into perspective.
Here's something I wish I knew before I was in my 30s.
How to actually fall asleep fast when your mind doesn't want you to. I'm a doctor and sometimes I have trouble falling asleep. And I'm going to tell you about the method that was like a light switch moment for me once I learned it. And no, it doesn't involve taking something like melatonin or other supplements. It doesn't involve taking a hot shower before bed or even reading, something like that. It's a simple mental exercise we call cognitive shuffling. Have you heard of it? It's a way to rearrange or reorganize your thoughts, similar to shuffling a deck of cards. Basically, distracting your mind from conscious thought patterns that may keep you awake. There's a couple ways to do it. One is just thinking of random words or objects that have nothing to do with each other. For example, cow, leaf, sandwich, butter, liver, things like that. Just random words that make no sense. But if you don't like random, there's another method. First, you pick a letter of the alphabet. Number 2, you start counting your heartbeat. Then every 8 beats, you think of a word that begins with that letter. So you may be wondering, how does this really work? In addition to distracting your brain, cognitive shuffling mimics what are called microdreams, which occur during the transition to sleep. So it lets your brain know, hey, it's safe to fall asleep now. So give it a try and let me know if it works, because it has been an absolute game changer for me.
Tell me something a job has taught you that you will never ever forget, no matter what.
That they don't care. They don't care that you got in a wreck on the way to work. They don't care that your babysitter didn't show up. They don't care that you just bought a house. This is coming from someone who sat on the executive board with the CEO, with the COO, with all of the higher ups. They don't care. They don't care what you have going outside of work. It is about the result. It is about the deliverable. And the sooner you remove the emotion out of the work that you do, the further that you can go. Because when you start to think that they care if you had a bad day, then you give yourself an excuse to have a bad day. When you think that they care that you're doing really well in your personal life, you give yourself an excuse. When you remove the emotion, you will go further. Show up. Be passionate about the work that you are doing if you are. If you don't care about the work you're doing, do the bare minimum, but take the emotion out of it and stop people thinking that people care. It wasn't until I understood this that I doubled my salary and was able to get promoted. It sounds cold, but it's true.
If you're an ADHD girly who is high achieving, has lots of dreams, lots of aspirations, but you cannot for the life of you hold things together for more than 2 days, 2 weeks, and then everything falls apart, and then everything becomes chaotic, hot mess, this is the series for you. Over the next 100 videos, we are going to talk about practical, tangible tips for the girls with ADHD. This is not going to be your traditional productivity advice. This does not apply for everyone. This only applies for people whose brains work a little bit differently. I'm talking to the girls who really want to be this like type A person. You have a very ideal version of yourself. It's okay that you're not naturally like that. We are going to talk through ways that you can basically kind of trick your brain, trick your habits into becoming like that. Day 1, we're starting off strong. we're not going to tell anyone that we're changing our life. We're not going to tell anyone we're doing a challenge. We're not going to tell anyone we're going to start running. We're going to start a new hobby. We're going to start something. We are just going to quietly start showing up for ourselves, quietly start making changes in our life, the small habits, the daily practices. You can post about them. You can share like, oh yeah, I'm going on a walk right now, if it's happening in the current moment. But don't start talking to your friends about how like you want to be this type of person, because that just gives us this rush of dopamine and makes our brain basically think like, okay, we've already done that, we're bored. Make this into a game for yourself. Write down the things that you want to do, but do it quietly, because I guarantee it's going to make you have better long-term results.
I saw this girl in here talking about how important it is to be friends with people that are happy with themselves if you're happy with yourself. And like if you're successful, you need to also have friends who are successful. I cannot stress enough how fucking important this is. My entire life I've struggled with having friends, and I never understood why, because I was always doing so much in my life and always trying to uplift the people around me by giving them opportunities, by teaching them things, by just like trying to share the abundance and blessings. And because I was trying to give them something that I had, or teach them something, or help them in some way, they would always resent me, and I never understood why. I always was so confused. Like, I love my friends so deeply, I want to just constantly be giving to them, so why the fuck do you treat me badly? Type shit. Now I realize after watching that video, it's because I consistently try to be friends with people who are not happy in their lives, and it always turns out to become a projection thing where people are just constantly upset with how much I'm doing, or how happy I am, or how confident I am, and it always just ends in me being hurt at the end of the day. So that was one of the most valuable things I've ever seen on TikTok, literally. And I'm just here to vouch that that is 100% the fucking truth.
One of the things I like about my new job is that everybody talks like a normal person. Nobody says stupid shit like boil the ocean or close the loop or low-hanging fruit. People just talk like normal people. This may not seem groundbreaking, but at the job I just left, everyone in leadership sounded exactly like Corporate Erin. If you don't know who Corporate Erin is, look her up on TikTok. She's freaking hilarious. Every time there was a meeting, it was like leadership was having a contest to see who could sound more ridiculous. But I think they really hit rock bottom when someone in the meeting started using the word double click to mean follow up. As in, to double click what Rachel said. Why do people talk like this? Nobody's impressed. I don't even think they're impressing each other. I am aware of all of the linguistic theories about how it's supposed to signal to other people that they are in the loop and that they're familiar with the jargon, so they're part of a corporate elite. Nobody's hearing people say, let's double click what Rachel said, and thinking, my God, that is the cleverest way to phrase that I could have possibly thought of. Be for real. You sound dumb. It's so stupid.
Talking to my mom on the phone yesterday, and she was talking about how much I just did a complete 180 with my life and how she almost doesn't recognize me as a person. I used to be the most insecure person on this planet, bad mindset, didn't think good things were gonna come for me, just like the definition of anxious. I've changed and grown so much, and I've literally created my dream life. It's so much easier said than done, but I'm gonna share how I've become the hottest version of myself. First thing I did was faked confidence. You know those people you meet and they just have like really good energy within 10 minutes of talking to them, you're like, you radiate. Like, that's who I wanted to be. So what did I do? I faked it. No joke, I'm not even kidding you. That was the month I met my boyfriend. Not to get confidence confused with cockiness, because I feel like there's a fine line. I'm telling you, I used to not believe in energies, but energies are so real. People can feel how you actually are. Now, if we're gonna talk on a physical level, I think also to be the hottest version of yourself, also keep up with it physically. Like, go to the gym, take some time doing your hair, pick out cute outfits. You don't have to break the bank to do it. I actually think that really helps with the mindset. Like, look good, feel good. I live by that. People are like, Taylor, how do you keep up with it every day? I'm not even kidding you. I just remind myself, like, who do you want to be? That hot random girl you see on the street that just has great energy. If you want to be that, that's work to put in every day. Next thing I struggle with the most on becoming a hot girl was being vulnerable. That is hard. Not in an oversharing negative way where they're not putting on this fake front. You know, I can see right through people when I meet them. Not confident people that are successful, they don't have to try that hard to prove it. I used to be one of those people that was always asking for advice. You know, what picture should I post on Instagram? Something as small as that, to like, what should I major in because what's everyone majoring in? I just could not make my own decision and have my own opinion to save my life. I've just decided to wake up and literally do what I want to do because that's what I want to do. And it sounds so silly, right? But I can't tell you how many times people subconsciously, like, I won't lie, I wanted to please society. I wanted to please what everyone says to do. I wasn't actually listening to me as a person, and that will lead you into a life that you don't want, so therefore you're not happy and you can't be your best version of yourself. I'm not trying to sound very life coachy because I honestly, one of my pet peeves, I can't stand that people are like, be happy, be confident. It's so much harder than that. It's just kind of what helped me. I hit a low and I was like, I'm waking up every day in this one life I have, and I know I'm not maximizing it. Personal example of how this applied to my life was with social media. I knew I loved making videos. I knew I loved shooting content, but people in my real life were making fun of me, or it might have been seen as cringe to post my Instagram reels, knowing, you know, everyone from my high school, college, family is gonna see it. Hot people don't worry about that because they're just so confident in being unapologetically like themselves. I'm not trying to sit in front of the camera and be like, I'm perfect now, I have it all figured out. No, like, it's a daily thing. I have to wake up and remind myself of that. I was the kind of introvert that just would sit around waiting for life to like just come to me, and I got to a point where I'm like, no, you have to make it happen for yourself. You can be manifesting, you can be doing all the right things, but if you're not taking any action, you're not gonna see results. I was a big worrier. I'll literally tell myself, you know what, it's not that deep, worrying's not gonna get me anywhere, and I'm not even kidding you, within the past year, everything's always had just like a weird way of working out that I literally can't explain other than just like my mindset change. I don't wanna be friends with someone that's gonna drag me down. I wanna be friends with people that inspire me and lift me up. And energies attract. So if you're at a low energy, you're going to attract people with bad vibes. Still be human, still be personable, like no one's perfect and no one's ever gonna be. But once I started to like take things back, put things in my control and in my hands, and just take accountability, things just started working out.
If you want to level up this year, this is what you need to focus on this quarter. You're going to hate me for this, but when people tell me that they've had the same sets of friends since age 3, it concerns me. That's prison, and it just shows me that you haven't diversified your way of thinking. And no, it's not bragging rights to how loyal you are, it's just a prison. This is the problem that a lot of you have. You don't know how to socialize. You're going to need to know how to socialize with everyone, even those that you have nothing in common with. Learn and find something in common. Because a lot of us are very caught up in only socializing with those that look like us. If they don't look like us, we're suddenly uncomfortable. This is a problem that I see with some people. Unless they look like themselves, they just don't know how to socialize with them. Babe, diversify. I'm so sorry, but you need to learn how to speak. Not TikTok speak, not local speak, learn how to speak. Unless you work with children or in social media, it just doesn't make sense. I know the girlies are going to tell you that just come as you are, but that's a fucking lie. I just think we've lost the art of how to present ourselves. So be prepared and come correct. Make sure that your outfit fits the environment that you're entering. And with that, it's better to look overdressed than underdressed. But don't take that as a hall pass to look crazy, okay? I just feel like women need to learn the art of how to be subtly sexy. Not everyday tits, not everyday leg, not everyday insert body part being exposed. Sometimes subtle. And no, I'm not telling you how to dress like a nun, but it's all about balance. If we're showing our legs, let's cover up top, and vice versa. Just use your common sense, okay? And trust me, you're not gonna go wrong if you just dress for your frigging body type. Sign up to a serious publication, read a fucking book, listen to an intelligent podcast, not everyday Netflix. Pick a new hobby or an interest that is completely different to what you would usually do, whether it be wine tasting or tennis. And as for me, one of the best things I've ever done is to learn about wines. That way I can navigate around a wine list without embarrassing myself. Not everyday Prosecco, okay babies? It goes without saying that I'm super appreciative that we're all at different stages of life, but if you can't afford caviar, at least know how to spell it.
If you were 20 again, knowing what you know now,
oh my God,
what would you do different?
I would be very different around men.
Like what?
I would be more in charge and less in need of their approval. It would be fun to watch that unfold with the knowledge I have now. I've often wondered about that. Wouldn't it be fabulous? Or even 30.
Yeah.
Because now I don't need them. Then I was under some delusion that I did. Some narrative I was feeding myself. But I think it has to do with biology more than anything. You know, your fallopian tubes and your ovaries are like, come on, man, we're ready to like drop one. And I think that's a lot of what drives it.
One of my friends has a boyfriend who just acts right. He's just such a good guy, such a good boyfriend. And I think she trained him to be that way. I know she trained him to be that way because I've been observing their relationship. And I observe a lot of other relationships where girls don't do this. She, from day one, has just had a no tolerance policy for bullshit. Him showing up late to their dates, him not calling her when he says he's going to call her, not telling her things, keeping things back. No, that does not fly in her book. And when they were first getting to know each other and starting their relationship, she wasn't afraid of that driving him away or that scaring him. Like, so be it. These are my standards. If you don't, act right. If you don't meet them and you don't want to do that, fine. You're not going to be my boyfriend. And now she has a perfect boyfriend and an awesome relationship. And he loves her to death and he's such a great guy. And, truly is one of my favorite relationships to witness. So I have been taking notes. Don't be afraid to uphold the no bullshit tolerance policy.
I'm going to tell y'all some things a man in love with you would never do. I don't care if somebody offered him free gas and groceries for the rest of his life. He would never, ever make you sit there and tell him a whole list of ways that he needs to take care of you. Why? Because a man in love with you actually, shocker, cares for you. And that means if you are sick, he's going to check on you. You don't have to ask him to do that. If it's your birthday, he's going to wish you a happy birthday. He's going to have something planned for your birthday or talk to you about your birthday and about what you want to do for your birthday. Valentine's Day, Christmas, Easter, holidays. I'm not saying he's going to line the streets with roses. He may not be that kind of guy, but he is not an idiot. If that's the number one thing you take away from this, men are not idiots. Stop giving them a pass and acting like they are less than, stupid. They just don't get it. He gets it. He's just not that into you. If a man is trying to act like he just didn't understand that it was Christmas, he just didn't understand that it was your birthday, he just didn't understand that it was Valentine's Day, he's not into you. Because men understand this, and men understand how to take care of a woman, and they also want to take care of a woman that they love. Why? Exhibit A. We've talked about this before. Because men are competitive. And they never want another man to have what they want. So they are never going to get up and leave an empty seat next to you for another man to sit down in. Never, ever, not ever, never. Period.
What I wish I knew at 19 instead of 45. Money is a topic filled with intentional lies and a deep history of brutality and betrayal. It's no wonder it made you feel overwhelmed. Work-life balance does not need to happen all at the same time. Sometimes you will work long hours in order to accomplish a goal. And during that time, your children might be cared for by someone else. And sometimes you'll sacrifice things at work to invest time into your family. And sometimes you'll sit in the bathtub for 30 minutes, even when that to-do list is so long. Not every day is going to be this perfect work-life balance. In fact, it can be months of one thing or the other. Consistency over a long period has more return than drastic actions. Everything is expensive. Everything. And you can budget until the cows come home. But the big solution is to figure out how to make more money. I mean, still budget, but concentrate on ways to make more rather than stressing about spending. Pay yourself first. The best investment is you. And by the way, when you were in the trenches and surviving on food stamps, you were not less. You were doing what you needed to do.
Men are always saying that women have a biological clock, but let's talk about men's financial clocks. Now, let's say you're a guy and you are in your late 20s and you're like, you know what? I don't have a biological clock. I'm just gonna have fun and party while I'm still in my 20s. Let's say as the guy, you go after the younger girls, but you're going after the really pretty ones, so you're only going after the top 3%. Now, what these guys don't understand is that those girls have a lot of options. I have a lot of girlfriends who are in their early, mid-late 20s, and all of them have said, I don't want to date a guy for his potential. Like, he might be successful potentially. There's guys his age that are already successful. These younger girls actually have a lot more time, so they don't need to settle because they're younger and they're still figuring out their finances and their career. They're not going to want a guy that can't provide and protect them. And then there's going to be guys that are like, well, I just won't date younger girls. I'll just date a girl who's my age. Well, the girls your age are going to want you to be financially stable to do the marriage, the kids, the ring, the house, the everything. Not a lot of girls just want to pop out a kid immediately after getting married at 25 or 26. And I hate to break it to you, but a lot of girls after 26 or 27 aren't even single. So something to keep in mind for men these days, no, you don't have a biological clock, but you sure do have a financial clock. Bye.
I'm gonna tell you guys all the things that I did to become a high value woman after literally being a party girl that was drinking every weekend, addicted to babes, literally being used and cheated on by guys and just having no self-respect. Now I'm literally obsessed with myself. Every time I go out, people are always turning heads, opening doors for me, giving me free things. My boyfriend is literally obsessed with me, and I'm gonna put you guys in the tea. The first thing that I did was stop self-harm. That basically means I stopped doing all the things that made me feel low value so that I could heal. That means stop going out, stop drinking, stop hurting your body, stop hanging out with guys who don't value you, stop sleeping around, stop accepting bare minimum. The second thing I did was focus on healing and self-care. And self-care is so important to do because it just makes you feel more high value. When you genuinely put work into yourself, whether that be doing hair care, skin care, going to the gym, eating well, you literally feel like $1,000,000. This is how you literally become high value because you are investing time, energy, money into yourself. The third thing I did was actually learn how to act, speak, and become a high value woman. Like how to dress like her, how to act like her in public, how to date like her. Because the secret is that you don't have to get permission from other people to become a high value woman. People don't have to call you high value woman before you are one. Like if you just start acting like a high value woman, knowing what to accept, what not to accept, dressing like her, becoming more exclusive, learning how to speak like a high value woman, then people will just start seeing you like that. People will just start believing what you believe about yourself. Like, did you hear me? You can literally decide to become a high value woman, make any guy literally give you princess treatment, make every person in life respect you, see you as elite. Literally the moment you decide and the moment you start acting like one, thinking like one, and speaking like one. So a few things that I started doing was dressing more feminine and modest. Also being more exclusive. Like I don't allow behavior that I don't want. I don't go on dates that I don't want to go on. I am not for everybody. I won't start talking to people automatically because who are you? Did you earn my love? Did you earn my respect? And I literally learned everything on how to date like a high value woman, what to accept, what not to accept, how to be my feminine energy, how to make people and guys respect me so they give me princess treatment. They literally spoil me. They see me as the most high value and the most elite woman that they've ever met. I learned exactly how to become a high value woman from the High Value Woman formula. Literally the videos inside of the formula show you everything. When I say this is the most gate kept and most amazing secrets, this girl literally texted me saying she was in a situationship for 4 years, and after using the High Value Woman formula, she found a new man who literally treats her like the prize, like a high value woman. But her Porsche is taking her on trips to Europe and literally sends her flowers all the time. And you can get instant access to the formula that I'm talking about right now by clicking on my little image and just going to my profile. It also taught me how to dress, literal scripts to get flowers, to get people to open doors for me, to spoil me, give me princess treatment. And the last thing that makes you a high value woman is probably just developing skills besides your beauty. Study spirituality, go to school, become passionate about something. A high value woman has a lot of value. It's like getting a product that has so much to offer. I love you. Follow for more.
My Roman Empire will forever be why men cheat on their 10 out of 10 girlfriends with literal creatures of the swamp. And I get.
Hi, I'm a psychology major, and we learned about this in my social psychology class. And basically, mating psychology says when a man cheats on a woman who is perceived to have a higher mate value, it is because he is insecure. That's why. That's it. That's the whole reason. He is just fucking insecure.
The only relationships that will last long term successfully are as followed. When the man loves the woman way more than the woman loves the man, or when the man and women love each other equally. And the common denominator here is that the man has to be fully fucking invested. The thing is, that lopsided relationship where the woman loves the man more is going to fail because she is putting in overtime. A woman will always put in effort in the relationship to make it work, whereas man has to feel fully invested in the relationship.
This is horrible advice. I actually found it painful to listen to. It's ludicrous to make the assumption and the gross generalization that a woman will always put in the effort to make the relationship work. The bottom line is that for any relationship to survive and thrive, both partners have to be fully invested in the relationship, irrespective of gender.
The amount of money he spends on you isn't a way to measure his interest. His time is an accurate way to measure his interest. See, a guy with money will spend money on you and 10 more of you just to have access to, and won't even notice anything ever even left his bank account. No significance at all. Doesn't mean he's interested at all. Just means he's willing to put it to the side because he has it. It means nothing. Zero. See, now a guy with little money, that could mean something because it actually shows that he's willing to put up something that he lacks that's important to him to spend time with you. Now, it means something to him. But if you take both those scenarios, either way, time is going to be more valuable for both of those guys, regardless of the scenario. A man's time he's going to value much more than his money when it comes to the person he's interested in. Money for the guys that got it, the guys of substance, the guys you keep talking about, oh, but he's got to have money. They don't give a shit. They'll put their money over here and 10 more or 12 more of you and not care if it leaves their bank account. Matter of fact, won't even notice if it leaves their bank account. So is that a way you're talking about to measure his interest in you? Oh, no. No, it's his time and how he allocates it with you, and he takes you out because he's going to value his time over his money. Any guy of substance will tell you the same thing.
The reason why I wake up at 5 a.m. and I run every morning isn't because I'm a marathon runner or because I'm some kind of triathlete. It's because I fucking hate running, man, and I hate getting up early even more. So I'm starting the day by building a non-negotiable standard for myself, which I've come to realize is the only way we can ever grow and improve. When people say no one's coming to save you, they're not talking about how no one's coming to help you reach your goals. They're talking about how no one's coming to save you from yourself. Because without standards, man, we always lose direction and we always fall back to our lowest automatic systems. Binging, procrastinating, clinging to comfort, and the fucking worst one of all, dude, lacking the desire to change because it's just too difficult and discomfort is so distasteful these days. So when I'm out here in the morning, it's not about mileage, it's not about pace, not really. It's about creating a rhythm and creating a standard and a certainty in a world of uncertainty for how I want to see myself throughout the day. And now I have this new energy that I'll bring to everything else I do, knowing that I said yes to getting just a little bit better today and knowing that I was able to conquer that inner bitch at the crack of dawn. And the rest of the day is cake now. I challenge you to hold yourself to something non-negotiable today. Just give it a try, man. The amount of self-confidence and newfound self-belief will be something that you've never felt before.